After years of unwavering dedication, Ellen stumbles upon a mysterious letter hidden among old family documents, addressed to her by Richard Vanderwood. The contents reveal a secret inheritance that could change her life forever, but it raises more questions than answers. Confronting Caroline only deepens the intrigue as Ellen learns the lengths some will go to bury the truth. With her heart torn between loyalty and justice, Ellen makes a bold decision that no one saw coming. The shocking twist that follows will leave you questioning the true meaning of family and gratitude. But before we dive in, leave a comment and let us know where you are watching from today. And if this story speaks to you, hit that subscribe button for more amazing stories. In the heart of New York City, within the walls of the opulent Vanderwood estate, Ellen Bennett bustled about, preparing breakfast for the triplets she had raised for the last decade. The grand kitchen, with its gleaming marble countertops and state-of-the-art appliances, seemed almost too luxurious for a nanny like Ellen, who came from humble beginnings. Yet, for 12 years, she had been the backbone of the Vanderwood family, raising the triplets, Sophia, Samuel, and Serena, like her own children. The triplets were the pride and joy of the Vanderwood name, the heirs to their father Richard Vanderwood's billion-dollar real estate empire. They had been born into wealth and privilege, but their parents were often absent. Richard's time was consumed by high-stakes deals and board meetings, while their mother, Caroline, filled her days with charity galas, fashion shows, and trips to exclusive resorts. It was Ellen who stepped in, providing the nurturing and love the children so desperately needed. Ellen, in her early 40s, was kind, patient, and fiercely loyal. She had joined the Vanderwoods when the triplets were only a few months old, stepping in as their mother, Caroline, grappled with postpartum depression. Ellen remembered the day she was hired vividly. Caroline had been pale and distant, and Richard had barely looked up from his phone. It was as if they were handing off a task rather than entrusting her with their children's lives. Still, Ellen dedicated herself to her work. She stayed up during countless sleepless nights when the triplets were teething, held their hands when they were scared of the dark, and celebrated their milestones with genuine pride. She became their rock, their confidant, and, in many ways, their surrogate parent. When they cried for their mother, Ellen was there. When their father broke promises to attend school events, Ellen showed up in his place. But despite her deep love for the children, Ellen always felt like an outsider. Caroline, though polite, kept her at a distance, and Richard barely acknowledged her unless it concerned the children. She had grown used to the fleeting glances and formal exchanges, burying her emotions to focus on the triplets. They were her joy, and that was enough. One crisp autumn morning, the triplets, now 12 years old, sat at the breakfast table chattering excitedly about their upcoming birthday. Ellen smiled warmly as she served their pancakes, her heart full as she listened to their plans for the party. But her moment of contentment was interrupted by Caroline's sudden appearance. "We need to talk," Caroline said curtly, motioning for Ellen to join her in the study. Ellen's stomach churned. Caroline's tone was colder than usual. In the study, surrounded by shelves of leather-bound books and portraits of Vanderwood ancestors, Caroline handed Ellen a letter. "We're leaving for Europe next month," Caroline began, her voice emotionless. "It's a permanent move. The children will be attending boarding school." Ellen froze. "What about me? What about the triplets?" They'll adjust," Caroline interrupted, avoiding Ellen's gaze. "And your services will no longer be required after the move. Of course, you'll receive a severance package." The words felt like a blow. Ellen nodded, trying to maintain her composure, but her heart shattered. The triplets were her world, and now she was being cast aside without a second thought. As Ellen packed her belongings over the next few weeks, she stumbled upon an old box tucked away in the attic. It was labeled Caroline's documents, but Ellen recognized the triplets' names written faintly on the side. Curiosity overcame her, and she opened it. Inside, she found birth certificates, medical records, and a sealed envelope addressed to her. Confused, Ellen tore it open. The letter inside was from Richard Vanderwood, dated nearly 12 years ago. "Ellen, if you're reading this, it means something has happened to my plans. I trust you more than anyone else to care for Sophia, Samuel, and Serena. Enclosed is a document ensuring you receive what you truly deserve for your dedication and love. Richard." Her hands trembled as she reached for the document. It was a legal will, detailing an inheritance set aside for her in case of unforeseen circumstances. The sum was staggering, $5 million. Ellen sat in shock, the letter and will spread before her. Why had Richard entrusted her with such a fortune? And why had this been hidden? The questions swirled as she realized she needed answers. She decided to confront Caroline. Later that evening, Ellen found Caroline in the study. She placed the letter and will on the desk. Caroline's face paled as she scanned the documents. "You weren't supposed to find this," Caroline said, her voice icy. "Richard wrote that without consulting me. He was always too sentimental." Ellen's voice wavered. "Why didn't you tell me? After everything I've done for this family." "You've done your job, Ellen," Caroline snapped. "And you were paid generously. Richard's gone, and I'm the one in charge now." Tears welled in Ellen's eyes, but she stood her ground. "This isn't about money. It's about what Richard wanted for me and the children." The next day, Ellen visited the family lawyer, who confirmed the will's validity. The money was hers, untouched and waiting in a trust fund. As she left the office, a flood of emotions washed over her. She didn't want to take anything from the family, but Richard's words in the letter echoed in her mind. "You deserve this." Returning to the mansion, Ellen found the triplets waiting for her. "Mom says you're leaving," Samuel said, his voice quivering. Ellen knelt down, hugging them tightly. "I'll always be with you, no matter where you go." Little did they know, Ellen had a plan. On the day of the family's departure to Europe, Ellen stood by the grand staircase, watching the triplets say their goodbyes. Caroline avoided eye contact, but the children clung to Ellen, tears streaming down their faces. "We'll miss you so much," Sophia sobbed. "I'll miss you too," Ellen whispered, slipping each of them a small envelope. Inside were letters telling them the truth about their father's wishes and her undying love for them. As the Vanderwoods' car disappeared down the driveway, Ellen felt a mix of sorrow and hope. She had used part of the inheritance to secure a cozy home nearby and had enrolled in a program to start her own childcare center, a dream she had long abandoned. Months later, Ellen received an unexpected visitor. It was Richard's estranged sister Margaret, whom she had only met once at a holiday party. Margaret handed Ellen another envelope. "Richard always said you were the soul of this family," Margaret said. "He left one more thing for you." Inside was a deed to a charming countryside property, Richard's childhood home, and a handwritten note. "Ellen, this is where love and family truly matter. Thank you for giving my children what I couldn't. Richard." Ellen stood in stunned silence, tears streaming down her face. In that moment, she realized her years of sacrifice had not only been recognized but deeply valued. Ellen moved to the countryside, where she opened a small childcare center, dedicating her life to helping children in need. The triplets stayed in touch, writing letters and visiting during school breaks. Their bond with Ellen remained unbreakable, stronger than ever. And though the Vanderwoods' wealth and power once overshadowed her, Ellen discovered something far more valuable: a legacy built on love, gratitude, and the quiet acknowledgement of a life well lived.